Go ahead, Nicole.
Hello, my name is Nicolesegoviaa. I am the host of There Is Always More podcast. I am 21 years old. I am a senior at Sacramento State, and my major is kinesiology.
Hi, I'm Sabrina. I'm the host of Miedo. I'm 21 years old. I go to school at UOP, and I'm a senior, and I'm a psychology major.
And hello, my name is Gabriela. I'm 21, and I am a nursing major at Stanislaus State.
Awesome. So we're going to do an entire podcast episode today on what it feels like and what life is like being a first-generation college student.
Yes.
We are all one. First of all, let's start there. We're all first-gen students, otherwise we wouldn't be speaking on this matter. But let's talk about how we met.
Yes.
I met Sabrina because I've been friends with Gabby since high school, but we weren't friends like that. Like, we were just, like, acquaintances. Like, I knew you, she knew me. That was really it. We didn't really talk, and then after high school, we just, like, got really close.
Yeah.
And then I've been stuck with her ever since, so, yeah.
That's funny. You guys don't even remember how you guys became
No,
friends.
I don't remember how it started.
We played soccer together, Parks and Rec. We were on the same team.
Yes, but, like, after high school, like, how did we just, like, start talking again? I do not remember.
I don't remember.
Couldn't tell you.
I met Gabby through our moms. We were 6 years old. I remember going to your house still for someone's bridal shower or baby shower.
Probably.
I don't
That's
remember who. I
crazy.
remember playing with you upstairs in your room. Like, I do. We were
That's
playing
crazy.
like dolls
Yeah,
and
our
like
moms have been coworkers
Yes.
for years.
Yeah.
That's right, HR, right?
yes.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And then I remember telling my mom that I wanted a house like yours.
I want a house like Gabby's
I was like,
mom.
our house is so big, Mom. I want a house
Oh
like
my
that.
God. Well, you've been in the same house forever.
Yeah, since I was in
So that
first
same
grade.
house.
I think you
Is the
guys
one you're
had,
talking about?
Oh no, you guys probably. I don't know if you had just moved in, but that's in
Yeah.
house.
That
yeah.
same house that you're talking about,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
It is
we had
big.
probably just moved in.
Yeah,
That's
I remember
crazy.
that. I remember telling my mom that.
So she's like the glue then. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, she brought us together, but we individually knew
We
her.
knew each other. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we met through our book club too,
Mhm.
though.
That's how we got introduced.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have our own book club.
Yes, it's called Batty's Book Club.
Batty's Book Club.
Batty's Book Club. We've read, we're on the second book.
Second book,
We're almost done though.
and we're gonna go on to our
Third one.
The set
It's
boundaries.
so fun. Yeah, the third one's gonna be about setting boundaries.
But it's not just like a get together and like we're reading. It's like fun. Like we do different things for our book club. Like yesterday we
Activities.
went to
San Francisco.
Dolores Park, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
Dolo Park.
Dolo Park. Dolores.
What's the name of it?
Dolo is the nickname.
The
That's what
nickname
Okay,
for
it's-
Dolores. I
okay,
was like, wait, that is
I
the
was like,
name.
is it
Yeah.
Dolores?
Dolores.
Dolo Park. I like the nickname better. Let's say the
Yeah.
nickname.
Dolo.
Let's say the nickname.
Okay.
Dolo. Because
Okay.
it rhymes with YOLO.
YOLO. You only live once. Let's Dolo.
YOLO, let's go to Dolo. Okay, that's it. That's enough. Okay. Let's get started on our actual topic for today.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start talking about stress and pressure that comes along with being a first generation. But let's talk about what we can all relate on first, which is being Hispanic and dealing with those pressures that come along with that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think about that?
I think it's just, there's a lot of pressure. I think our parents or grandparents,
Mhm.
came here. They made a lot of sacrifices to get here and to give us the life that we have now. So there's
Yeah.
a lot of pressure riding on that. Like, you really have some expectations to meet, and sometimes they're implicit. Sometimes
Mhm.
we put that on ourselves, but
Yeah.
I think sometimes it really is like, you get thrown the, do you know how many sacrifices that I had to make to be here?
Yes. Yes.
There's a lot riding on it.
Yeah.
As much as you hate to hear that, I feel like it's
Mhm.
important that you hear it though.
But it's also like a good thing to remember. Like my grandpa was a bracero back in the 50s. Like
Dang.
we were coming over here,
Yeah.
and no, probably like 40s because he was born in 31.
So he was young when he
1931.
came then.
Yeah, he was only a teenager. I
Gotcha.
don't even think he was
So
old
were my
enough. He lied
grandparents.
about his age to get
Probably.
here.
Yeah.
But just thinking about that, like he was a bracero, like he got like pesticides sprayed on him, like all of that is just like I'm not gonna not do anything with my life.
Right.
Like they struggled to get here.
Right, yeah. I think for me, what hits me hard is like definitely my grandparents. Like, love my parents, but for some reason, like when you associate getting here, like my grandparents did so much to get here, and like they've also like they have kids now. Obviously, my mom and like they're all well off, but it's like for some reason there's like still that pressure. Like even though they already made it, you would think that it might have like eased up on it, but it's not. Like
Yeah.
they still make it a point for us to know like the struggles that they had to get here, like what they endured when they got here too, not even just getting here. Like my grandpa, I think he only went up to like 5th grade.
Yeah.
Like when you think about that, like the amount of education that man had is little to none. Like think about what you do in 5th grade.
Yeah, that's what I was just telling
Like,
Gabby
seriously.
too. My grandma, she struggled a lot because she had Alzheimer's, but she also didn't like write and read, so she didn't have like those memory skills to remember how to read and write. So
that's really interesting because just Medicare or Medi-Cal has like this worksheet that they have patients fill out at their annuals every single year. And it has a bunch of stuff on it, like patterns, numbers, letters that they have to read out. And I had a patient who was probably in his 80s, Hispanic, didn't go to school.
Yeah.
So even though he was pretty competent, he wasn't able to fill out the form.
Right.
Because he didn't know the letters. He wasn't able to read them back to me. And he didn't, on top of that, he didn't speak English.
Yeah.
It's
just interesting. And then I also, like, that love for our grandparents. It's like, I feel like that also connects us to it.
Like
too.
you want nothing more but to make them proud. And I feel like sometimes even though we do enough, I feel like it's not enough. Like, do you guys ever feel like that? Like I'm busting my butt and I feel like it's not even
like
close to what they went through.
Yeah.
Or like I can do better. I don't know. And I know I shouldn't feel that way, but it's just kind of how it is. Like,
again, it's just like getting hard. Like getting
you're
down on
hard
yourself.
on yourself.
You know, like we have our own struggles and they're just different. Very different.
Oh, different struggles for sure. I don't think I would want to know their struggles. And like, I know that's kind of sucky to say, but like, I don't think that I would want to know what it's like.
I would not want to
struggle to get here
in the fields 10 hours a day trying to make a living for my kids. Like, I would not want that.
What about like when our own families don't really understand the pressures that, like, I feel like when we talk about our pressures, it's almost like undermined sometimes, like with the whole, oh, well, you have no idea what it, you know what I mean? And it's like, I understand that, but at the same time, like you said, the pressures are too different to even compare.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fair that a lot of our generation has to deal with, even if you're not first gen, that could be thrown at you. You know what I mean? Like,
do you feel like going away for your first year, you didn't have a lot of that pressure, like your aunts and your parents telling you like, oh, you don't do this, you don't do that?
Right. I think I still had a lot of pressure only because I've always put that pressure on myself.
Yeah.
Like my parents have always pushed me, but I think my drive was really like, I need to be good enough. Like I need to be perfect. I'm a perfectionist. I really am. So I feel like out of everybody, I was always the hardest on myself. Always, so that I didn't escape that.
Like you didn't like leave it home. Because we both stayed home.
Yeah, I stayed
home.
So
I think we had it like, I had it very frequently. At least I can say that. Like,
I don't think my aunts and uncles, you know, like you have your family saying stuff to you about like, oh, you don't do this, or like, what are you doing? Like I don't know, just like, I know a lot of people have that in their family, but I feel like I never really had that.
No.
They always kind of understood, even though they never had gone through it. They still understood, like, oh my god, she's doing a lot. Like, my aunt would look at me and she's like, you're tired, like, you're fine, like, what can I do for you? Like, how can I help you?
That's good. Yeah, like, my family's very supportive. I just feel like sometimes it's really hard for them to understand exactly what stress we're under. Or exactly why are we stressed during finals? Like, it's just a test.
Or
like,
to talk
hold on,
to them.
it's not just a test.
Yeah.
Right, it's hard to connect with them
and
about
your parents
that.
about it.
If
Like,
they didn't go to college, you can't, especially, I don't know about you guys, like, applying to college for me was a learning curve. Like, I didn't have a parent to ask that went to school, like, hey mom, how do you apply to college? It was my mom asking me, like, did you get the help to figure out how to apply for college? I was like, yeah, like, I got it figured out. I went to the counselor or whatever. But I also feel like that made us more independent. Like, honestly, we had to figure it out. We had support, but we didn't have other resources that other kids are lucky to have. So
yeah,
it's
like your parents helping you. Like, for us obviously it'll be easier. But I remember, like, applying, and I was like, oh my god, like, what do I do?
It was an incredibly stressful time.
It's not easy, and I feel like a lot of people, like, don't apply because it's just that hard.
It is hard.
Like, if you don't, like, if you're first gen and maybe you don't have, like, cousins, or maybe you don't have the counselor that you can talk to, like, people just don't apply because it's that hard.
And I'm the third, like, youngest, so I had 2 siblings that had already gone to college, but, like, our ages were so different that they couldn't even help me out.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's not
so much.
It's also, I don't feel like it's a very user-friendly process.
No, I feel like it could be a lot better, but I mean, Lord knows what.
I feel like unless you had gone to school like 2 years before, or like you were a counselor that's constantly having to learn, like
it's hard.
No one really knew.
Absolutely. I think that's a good way to go into growing up in an evolving society. I feel like this past year especially was very evolving.
No, but not only that too, like going into college, and I don't know did you guys use like we use Schoology at my school. I don't know what you guys.
I've never heard of that.
It's like your classes, like my senior year, all of my stuff, it was like a Canvas.
Okay, we use Canvas. That's what I use.
In high school?
No. In high school, we just, what do you mean? You had
like,
online stuff in high school?
Yeah, like my senior year.
Ours barely went into that our senior year. I don't know if you
say,
remember.
Yeah, my senior year, like everything was pretty much online already.
A lot of our stuff went online senior year. I don't remember what it was called. I don't think we used the same thing.
I don't think it was school.
No, I don't think you guys, it was
we were
something
barely
else.
transitioning into it.
Maybe.
But even going into like Canvas, like I remember at UOP, my freshman year, they were like, this is your first year using it.
Right.
Like it wasn't a big thing.
Yeah.
So for us to adapt, not growing up, like in high
With
school,
that,
like having to do stuff online, like it's kind of weird.
It's weird. It is weird. It's a different kind of accountability for sure.
It's always hard to get used to that. When I was at Long Beach State, because I transferred, I was at Long Beach State for 2 years doing my pre-nursing recs, and they used a completely different online system. And then when I moved over to Stanislaus, they had, I think they were using Blackboard, and then they were transitioning into Canvas.
Yeah. I feel like Canvas kind of took over.
Yeah.
It's like, I've only ever known Canvas because I went Delta to Sac State, so Delta had Canvas, Sac State has Canvas. But it is still a learning curve.
Yeah.
Even my first 2 years at Delta, I was like,
I forgot
what?
assignments
I have to log in.
sometimes.
Yeah, I have to log in to get my assignments. I thought I had to show up to class, like to get them. Right, like that's what I'm used to in high school. You go to class, they give you your assignments, they give you your homework. You go
that
home.
transition from high school to college is just like like there's no ease into
No,
it.
it's like there you go.
Yeah.
Have fun.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like how do you prepare for like
I
I don't know about you guys,
like
but
you can't.
I remember my freshman year I was like I didn't want to like walk out to go to the bathroom, but I was like I don't want to like raise my hand, and you don't have to obviously, but it was weird to walk out.
You're like, yeah, you excuse yourself basically.
But it's just like it's
Another
just like a weird thing.
Weird concept for me was taking a test. Like I don't know about you guys, but my tests were like once you're done, you hand it in and you leave.
Yeah.
Like you leave the room.
Yeah.
And like I was just so used to like
having to wait
for everybody to finish, and you're sitting there bored out of your mind reading a book or something, and you're like,
You're like, oh shoot, I can leave.
I can like go. Sometimes I want to finish it extra fast. I'm like, I got an appointment at 12:30. Like,
and what I think is so interesting is like me and you, Nicole, we were in like all the AP classes.
Right.
And that didn't help.
No, like it did in my English. I'm telling you right now,
English.
like
Shout out to
English.
Miss Castle.
Shout out Miss Castle because I'm not even kidding. Like I'll be writing essays in college, and I'll get emails from professors like, "You are such an excellent writer." I'm like, thanks. But to me, I'm like, I really didn't try like that hard. Like I obviously tried, and yes, it's an A and B paper. But did I think it was the most excellent writing ever? No. But it's
what
those
was
skills.
Miss Castle's? What was she just?
She
like,
was AP
super hard?
English. Well, she wasn't even hard to me.
I feel like the entire English department, AP English department
At Tokay was just so good. Like the skills that you learned in your freshman always carried on to your sophomore year. Like it just kept going.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like I never lost skills because we were always going back to them.
Mm-hmm.
And Miss Castle just like tied it all together. I mean, you start off with Mr. Wu, who, in case you don't know, is like really, really hard. Your freshman year, you didn't have him?
No.
He's just really hard. He'd actually just retired, which is insane. Because I was like, oh my god, like I feel old, and I'm not old, but he was just really hard, and he like means business, and he wants like good papers and like all this stuff, and he basically trains you for like the next 3 years of your AP English life. But everyone's like intimidated because all you hear about when you're in 8th grade coming from Lodi Middle is, oh my god, did you get Mr. Wu? Oh my god, like it's like a thing. So
It's like no one wants to get him.
But like you don't, but you want him because at the end, like you always come out a better student.
Yeah.
So it's one of those
That's
like,
true.
do I want him? Do I not want him? Kind
That's
of
how
thing.
I felt about a teacher at our school that nobody wanted, and like I remember getting, and she was older, so her way of teaching was just not
It's different.
cute. And I
It's
just
not cute.
I just remember I was like, oh my god, like she is so hard, but you learn a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you learn a lot.
Okay, let's go into the pandemic because that
like
was
that.
not it, sis. I mean, we're still in it.
That was just,
We're still in it.
I was just, my life upside down.
I mean,
Yes.
talk about like what, like okay, like we find out about COVID. I'm like, okay, there's thing going around, like whatever.
No, I was already anxious by then.
Really? See, not once in my mind did it cross my mind that I wouldn't be going to school. I would be doing everything online. Like I could never imagine that. Like I was like, it's school, like I have to go. Like in my mind, you know what I
Like
mean?
it's college. Like what do you do?
Everything got shut down. I was like, I really have to be in my room for how many hours staring at the same computer, listening to my teachers, trying to figure out how to work Zoom. They're on mute. The screen's upside down. Like, are you sharing your screen? No. Like, you know what I mean? Like, those struggles that, and I mean, I feel bad for the older teachers too. Like, they're not technology experts. We are. but they aren't.
And not
I
even
mean,
then
and they're
we
trying to
were,
figure out, and they're trying to figure out how to even construct a
even
class.
last semester, I couldn't even share. I didn't even know how to share my screen. I was
I
like, how do I
still
share
don't know
my
how
screen?
to share my screen.
It's honestly
Girl,
really
it's
weird.
literally a button.
It is a button, but it is
Zoom.
weird because
Yeah, no, I get
I
you.
remember people's faces were on this screen, and I was
Mhm.
like, can you guys see each other? Like, I
Yeah.
asked in class because I didn't know if they could see each other. It was just me. Like, I didn't know.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, some, I don't know, like, you have, like, the gallery view. I mean, okay, let's talk about, like, school, though. Like, did it make it harder, easier? Were you chilling? Like, what was that like?
I was terrified. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm a nursing major.
No, yeah,
So
I
was
feel for you, Hello.
practicing trach care on teddy bears at home. Like,
That's literally insane.
like, it's insane.
That's
It
insane.
is. Like, that last semester at Long Beach State, I was still doing prereqs. It wasn't
Right.
that big of a deal.
Right.
Of course, I was missing out on lab for microbio, but I mean, we got through it.
Yeah.
First semester of nursing school, only getting
Only on
1 to 2 days of lab a week, performing all these skills, trach
Jesus,
care,
I can't even
putting in
imagine.
catheters, like all this stuff. It was so much pressure. It's like, how do we really have like 3 hours today to learn all of this and have a skills check off on this next week?
Mhm.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you stressing
I
about
feel
that.
like it's just such a ripoff. Like, and it's not anyone's fault, and that's what
Of course.
makes me mad. Because I'm like, nurses, if you're gonna draw my blood, I want you to know how to do it on a person, not a teddy bear. But it's not your fault. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you guys got ripped off of
Learning.
the on-hand skills that you literally need. Like, you're a nurse. Like, you deal with people. Like, that to me is really scary. Like, we have
It's like
all
a
these
doctor too. I mean,
nurses
same
that are going to
thing.
go out in the world and
A
I'm not doubting you. I know you're going to be
nurse,
amazing, but it's just like some aren't.
Yeah,
You
and I
know?
think what was scary the most is that this was our first semester.
Yeah, so you're already scared about nursing school in
Yeah.
general, and then it's Zoom. Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, what was reassuring is that my instructors would always tell me, like, you're going to learn it once you go to clinicals, you know. You'll learn it in clinicals.
Gotcha.
But I'm not worried for you because I know you, so I'm like,
Exactly.
you know
She's
what
gonna
I
be
mean?
a good
Like, I
nurse.
know her. So,
No doubt in my
but like
mind.
other
Thank
people,
you.
I'm like,
I'm like,
you're
you
not
don't touch that
telling- you're
needle like
probably
that.
not. And my friend told me that's
I'm like-
not how you touch it.
My friend did it on a teddy bear, so.
But it was
She's
hard.
right. No, it is hard.
It was hard. I know. So when we first went down, I was working, and obviously it was so new. So
Right.
like we were all stressing. Like no one knew what was going
Right.
on.
Mhm.
I was working at my job, my ex job, and not gonna name.
Yeah.
But it was just I was working like 45 hours a week
Mhm.
because it was just so busy. I was
Yeah.
still a full-time
You're an
student.
essential worker.
Yes.
Literally.
I was essential worker, full-time student, and obviously, like, there was no Zoom yet. It was just like, oh, they would send you your assignments, you do it. They didn't know how to do it yet, so we were just, like, sending each other
Right.
assignments. And I just remember, like, one of my teachers gave me an extension, because I was like, there's no way, like, I can do this, because I'm working, I'm coming home, I'm tired. Like, they understood, though.
Oh, yeah.
They got
a lot
it.
of teachers were very
But she gave me, like, assignments and extension. She didn't give me like you have an extra week, but she
Right.
gave my assignments extensions. But I finished, but it was hard.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy. I remember just crying and
Mm-hmm.
thinking like, oh my god, this is so
Yeah.
hard. But I feel like the first semester with Zoom wasn't so hard.
Yeah.
And then the second semester when they figured it out was hard.
Right, because they're like, okay, now that we know you can do this, like, let's actually do it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no. I don't know, for
Yeah.
me, it was more like, I'm just too social. Like, in case y'all can't figure that out by now, like, I just love people. Like, I thrive when I'm surrounded by people that I love, when I'm out doing things. Like, that's what makes me happy. And I'm such a, like, I need to do it to know it. Like, I can't just read a textbook and be like, oh, got it. Where's the exam? Like, no,
Yeah.
honey. Like, I need to do it, see it. You show me and I can do it. But it's like online, just being in my room, like, I literally remember before I moved to Sacramento, like, I'd be in my room and I had my desk at the window. So I was like, I'm not going to look at a white wall.
Mm-hmm.
I might as well look at the window. And I remember just sitting there and I was like, I've never felt, like, so unmotivated. Like, I've been unmotivated in other parts of my life, but not in school. Like, I've always, you go to school, you go to volleyball. That was my routine.
It was just a routine, yeah.
And then I
to
was like,
school.
I literally do not want to do this. Like, if I didn't do this essay, would I feel bad? Absolutely not.
It's
Who
like
says that?
I was doing things last minute and I was like,
Yeah,
maybe I should
that
start
sucks.
it.
Yeah.
It's
Is
like
it
I have an hour
11:59?
left. Yeah.
What time is it? 11? I should probably start now. Like, but that's
Seems
not
like
good.
No.
But that was my mindset. I mean, I think I texted you one time. I was like, well,
Well, when you're
like,
stuck in
I
a
don't
room
care.
all day
Like, I
and
don't care.
you don't go
Yeah.
anywhere.
It's
unmotivated.
depressing.
Yeah, you're unmotivated. You're not even in the sun for one.
Literally.
So
Yeah.
you're
I
not
was
getting
like,
any vitamins.
I'm like, do I want to get the A or do I go for the B?
I think like my second week of nursing school, I just remember sitting down on my carpet and I just started crying because like I had not gone out, and like like the only reason I would leave was to drive to campus to go to lab, but I had not left. I mean, on top of the fact that nursing school is just a huge workload. But like, I didn't know any of my peers. Like, this was a brand new school, so I just had transferred in. Mm-hmm. I don't know absolutely anybody. Yeah. Nobody in my cohort. And I can still, like, because we've been online this past semester and we only see each other during lab, I still haven't been able to make, like, really like strong connections with my cohort.
Yeah. I mean, how are you? You're over a screen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, how long are your clinicals? Or your, like, lab days? Or
my
whatever?
Lab days, they're, like, 2 hours.
Yeah, that's not even enough. I mean, and when you go, you're like, I have so many questions. I have, like, you're there to work. You're not there to mingle, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's hard. That's
because you're not online. You're online, so you're not going to go and be talking.
Yeah. Right. You know who I feel for, though? Like, aside from college, like, I really feel for the kids that had just started school. Like, that started kindergarten online. I'm like, that's insane. I want to go to recess. Freshman year. Like, I think of, like, those pivotal years, like, those, like, how?
Yeah, my cousin told me, you know how middle school is 7th and 8th grade? Well, at least here it's 7th and 8th grade here. So my cousin started last year. Last year? Yeah. Yeah. We were already in online, right? Last year?
Yeah, last year.
So you started 7th grade online and finished 8th grade
That's
online.
Crazy.
I was like, you missed 2 years, like a very big part of, you know, like
his
growing up and like getting to meet people to go to high school, and you missed that. You missed 2 years. Yeah. That's insane.
And it sucks because, like, who you gonna blame it on? Like, it's not even a single person's fault. Like, it's just what it is, and it's like that's what makes me angry because I'm like
the parents, like, why are you getting mad at like something that we can't control?
What it is.
I think that's kind of like Jocelyn, what she went through.
Oh, that's right. She's
gonna be a freshman now in the past 2 years.
That's literally right.
She went to middle, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, she went.
She went. And she was there.
She's already a little introverted as it is. So like for those kids who are like
that might need that little extra push.
And now we're
like,
going into a high school with 1,000+ students
pool.
in it.
Yeah, I feel like that's me. I'm like an introvert at school. Like I don't.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't see that.
I am.
But I know you like when you're with us, so it's like different.
Yeah,
you know
it's different.
Like,
when I meet new people, I'm not how I am when I'm comfortable. Yeah. So like going into high school, you're just like, oh shoot, like who do I talk to? Like it's scary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's scary. Your first year.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah.
Let's go on working.
Yeah.
Like we all worked during college.
Yes.
Well, for me, just recently, when I was at Long Beach State, I didn't work.
No.
But
what's the difference for you?
Honestly, I feel like it helped me manage my time a lot better. Working while going to school.
Really?
Because I realized, like, I have to work, like, these days. I need to get my schoolwork done before.
That part.
So I was getting it done, like, a lot earlier versus, like, when I wasn't working. I feel like I wasted a lot of time.
Because you had time to waste.
Yeah.
I mean, not that, yes and no. Like, you could have done something, but you didn't. Because you didn't have to. So, like, why would you?
Yeah.
That's how I felt, too, my freshman year. I was like, oh, like, this is so good. Like, yeah, it sucks that I have to work and go to school, but, like, it makes me organize myself better. But then after a while doing it, you're just like, shit, like I don't have time.
No. Yeah.
Well, when you start hitting those upper divisions, it's like, oh shit, like I'm spending my time here making minimum wage. Like I could be studying for this big midterm that I have coming up.
I feel like you can never study enough. Like, and people say, like, that's enough. I'm like, is it though?
My stats
because I still don't feel like I feel dumb. So
my stats class, I felt stupid. I really felt stupid. Like it was hard for one. Like
and it was online. I'm assuming.
No, the first, because we had to take 2 semesters of stats.
Gotcha.
But it wasn't like stats, like numbers, like really.
No, stats is words.
Words.
And
letters. Yeah.
So we were like reading, obviously, case studies and blah, blah, blah. And I had to study.
But
I was at work.
Yeah. I got you.
So like 28 hours a week.
Yeah. Which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you add school, you're like, wow, that's a lot. Like,
Someone asked me, like, do you think they had just graduated high school? And they're like asking me, like, do you think I'll be able to work 40 hours a week and go to school? And I was like,
can you? Yes. Should you?
No.
You can.
It's crazy because a lot of there's a handful of students in my cohort that are like moms, have kids.
That is
working.
Something
else.
And every time that I think of them, every time that I start to complain, I'm just like, no, she has kids.
Like she's doing
working.
it.
But you also should not compare yourself to others.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But still,
yes,
it's like, look at
they could do it.
A job is work, but a kid is a whole other story. And I don't even have kids, but I babysit.
But
that's enough.
You never know if they have help.
Right.
There
Yeah.
are times. Like, you know they have kids, but do they have help?
Unless they're like newborns, because then they're like obviously need
yeah,
more than anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I started working at 16 in high school, so it really wasn't like new. But I don't want to like regret isn't the right word. Like,
you wish you would have started.
I just wish I would have started later. Exactly.
You would have enjoyed your high school.
Like, I played volleyball all throughout high school, and I played at Delta 2 years, and like it was all great. But when I look back, I'm like, there's so much I didn't do.
I remember those Delta years especially were like tough on you.
I swear to God, Sabrina,
there was no extra time.
I don't even know how I did it. Like, I literally, when I went to go see her in LA, finished a volleyball game.
Before you left?
I sped, yes. I literally went like 90 on the freeway. Went to Sacramento to catch my flight to go. Like, there's no other time for me to do stuff. Like, that's how I had to do it. Like, my game ended like at 8. My flight was at 9 and I was in Stockton. And I had to get to Sacramento. I made it.
I'm surprised.
I made it.
To you.
I was already checked in. I made it. But like that's the type of which is like there wasn't time. Like there really wasn't time.
Always
like,
on the go. Always.
If I wasn't at volleyball, I was at work. If I wasn't at work, I was coaching. If I wasn't coaching, I was like school. Like it was always something. And I don't regret that. Like I definitely had fun and I had a routine that I loved. But I never had like me time or friend time or family time. Like I literally my last adult time missed a camping trip that my whole family goes on. But I had a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Missed that.
Do you ever feel like this is what we're supposed to be doing?
Oh yeah.
Wait, what do you mean?
Especially like in the athletes, I feel like it's so pushed down your throat. It's insane.
Like pressured. Like
yes.
this is how
like you're not going to be good unless you show up. Mm-hmm. Like you can't be this unless you do this. And it's like they don't and they always say like, oh, like school comes first. I'm like, it does, but sometimes it doesn't. Like I miss so much class because we had away tournaments. So you got to leave early.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, I had time to make up my assignments. Like, the instructors understand, but if you don't put in the effort to make sure you study that extra hard if you know you're going to leave or whatever, then what do you do? Because now you're behind a whole lab or whatever it is that you missed. It's a lot.
I feel like it's a part of that, that first gen culture too. It's like, this is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be tired. We're supposed to be doing everything that we can.
Stressed out.
I remember I saw a post the other day on Instagram where it was just like, no days off is not cool.
Oh, yes.
Like
it's not a flex. I've heard of that. I think I saw you post that.
I saw you post that too.
No days off is not a flex. I was like, that's true though, because I used to literally think that. I was like, no, like,
I'm super busy all the time. Yeah, congrats to me. Like,
yeah.
I have things to do.
I'm like,
no time to myself at this point.
I can't go on the camping trip. Yes, like, come on. Like, I, of course, wanted to be there. And, like, it sucked. But it's like, that I was going to miss a tournament. 3 days. It was a 3-day tournament. It wasn't like it was a 1 day or 2. Like, it was 3 days. And it was the tournament that we host at our school. I was like, okay, like, come on. Mm-hmm. But it was, I don't know, like, I don't regret it. Like, I think I grew up because of it. And, like, I'm a better, stronger person. But, like, if I was to ever have kids, like, I wouldn't want that for them.
Yeah.
You know, like, I would want them to enjoy, like, yes, you should work. I think it's important to work, understand the value of money, and know where it does not just grow on a tree outside, because it doesn't. But I think that I did too much.
Yeah. I tried getting a job in high school. My mom was like, no. Like,
that's good.
She's like, congrats for you wanting to get a job, but like you should not.
See, my mom didn't force me, and that's what people always like. Oh, well, you had to work. I'm like, no, I wanted to work.
I mean, it's good to have your money, yeah. Like,
I know, but it's like now looking back, I'm like, did I want to? Like at that point, I wanted to because I always wanted to go out. I wanted to go to movies. I wanted all this, and I'm like not like I like materialistic things, so like. I wanted to buy them, and I didn't want to ask my mom for money all the time, so I wanted to have my money to buy whatever it is I wanted to buy.
Yeah, and I wanted to work because of that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to ask you guys for
like,
money. And
can I go to the mall? I need $100. Like,
come
on, you know?
Like, can I have $20?
Yeah,
and
that was, my mom never forced me, which I'm thankful for, too, because I know some people do force their kids to work. I think at some age, like 17, 18, yes.
I feel like when you graduate,
you
go
should
to work.
Yeah.
The day after you graduate, go apply.
Or if you are working at 16, like, just don't do what I did. Like, don't work if they ask you, can you work the 35, 38 hours, say no. Have a life. Like
35 hours as a high schooler?
In the summer, you can.
Oh. I thought you meant
But in the summer, I still had volleyball. That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Like, I had summer conditioning, and then I had season August to October, then I had club October to May, and then I had summer conditioning. Like, I never had, like, a break. You get me?
Yeah, and I thought...
That's why.
I thought playing soccer, because I played soccer up until I was probably like 17, so since I was a kid to 17.
Yeah.
And my last coach, because I played competitive soccer, my last coach was nuts. Like, no, I'm not kidding. He was
I
nuts.
bet that they were.
He was nuts. So we had obviously practice 2.5 hours every 2 days a week. Mm-hmm. But if you were sick, I remember one time I was like, oh, like I'm not feeling good today, like, and I was lying, honestly. Like I
I love the honesty. I was lying.
I did. By the way, if you're listening, I was
sorry,
lying, and I didn't text you back. But I wanted to go somewhere. I wanted to go to Sunsplash with my cousins.
Yeah, and you should.
And so I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not feeling well today. I'll see you on Thursday. And he's like, that's not an excuse. I was like, what do you mean? Like, pretty much you had to be...
He sensed it.
He said, she lying.
You had to be dying. I'm
like,
not
literally
kidding
dying.
you. Like, you had to have
Blood.
a doctor's note.
Yeah.
Like, you had to be in the hospital. You had to... In
to
order
not go.
to miss practice.
Yeah, I got you.
And the conditioning, I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy. That was like a job.
No, that is a job.
It's a job.
1,000%.
Yeah.
It's just a whole other realm. Like,
I
working.
played soccer too, like my first 2 years of high school with all the AP classes. And junior year, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore.
I remember you stopping and I was like, Abby's not playing soccer anymore.
No.
I remember that.
It was too much because it was like we had school all day, then we had practice,
like
2 hours. After school, I'd have to run home, eat something, do all my AP class homework. And then
you guys have a lot.
On nights that we had games, they expected us to stay for like
the varsity.
Oh, yeah.
So you're doing homework in the stands.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Like, why do you need me to stay? Like, you do
I
go to school, right?
I get, like, they want you to support, but it's, like, I feel like there should be, like, you have to support, like, this many games of the season. Not, like, every game, but make it, like...
Maybe, like, 3.
Each person has to go to 5 or, like, 3 or something. Because, like, I get what they're doing. I get it. And it is important, like, to show, like, we're a family and we're all in this together. Like, I get that, especially because I coach. Like, I always tell my girls, like, because I coach little girls, I tell them, like, go watch the big girls. Pick somebody from your position and watch them. Like, learn from them.
Yeah,
like, because if you're a freshman, brand new, never played volleyball or whatever it is that you're playing, and you watch a varsity, you might learn something, or you see the grit.
Ask them for help.
Right. So I get what they're doing, but I feel like they should put a cap. Like, every person individually has to stay for 5 games out of the entire season. Because you do have
It's funny that you guys had that. We never had that.
We did have that.
I never had that.
Sports in school.
We went to a different high school, by the way, if you guys were confused.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't go to the same high school.
St. Mary's. Yes. What is next? Oh, wait, did we get everything on that one? I think we did.
Yeah, draining, falling asleep.
I never fell asleep in a class or studying, because I'm not going to lie, I didn't study a lot at Delta. I am having to study now here. And it's not that the classes weren't hard, it's just that I actually, like, when I was in school, like, I was at the classroom. So, like, I was able to, like, retain a lot, versus now with it being online, like, I have no other choice but to study because I'm not there.
Yeah.
And if there's optional Zoom lectures, I most of the time watch it when I don't watch it, like, at the scheduled time, because I'm always, like, working during the day or whatever. That's why I have to also study, because I'm, like, doing it on my time. But at Delta, I can honestly say that I didn't really, like, study outside of study hall with my team, because I already did it. You get me?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, like, school takes priority over my sleep. That's definitely happened. Like, you know, like, in high school, I would not go to class to sleep in because I stayed up late doing an assignment.
They call her name, I'd be like, she's not coming. She's asleep. And I didn't even know she was asleep at the time. I just knew she wasn't coming because she wouldn't come.
Her birthday? Remember her birthday?
Oh my God.
Your birthday, you're like, guys, I woke up. I had to finish an assignment. Was it an assignment or a test?
It was a test.
On my 21st birthday, there was an assignment I had to turn in.
Yeah.
And I was going to go to sleep. I was in bed, falling asleep already. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I didn't do my shadow health. And I had to muster up the brain power to finish that assignment.
Drunk?
I would have slept.
Yes.
I would have slept.
See,
that's where you and I are so much different. I would have been like literally lights out. Like, I would have not. But you're a nurse. See, like, nurses are, like, different. Like, I feel like, because if you don't have A's, like, you're screwed.
Honestly,
I don't have that pressure.
Actually, when I was doing my prereqs, you don't get into nursing school if you don't have straight A's.
Right.
At least if you're going for the bachelor's program.
Right.
But when I got into nursing school and I was doing, like, my orientation, one of my professors actually told us how to talk with us and was like, I know we did a really horrible thing to you by making you get straight A's to get into this program, but I'm going to let you know now, forget about it.
Oh, that's nice.
Forget about it.
So
that's nice though.
As long as you have a C, you're good?
In a sense that, like, you're going to have really unrealistic expectations if you want an A+ in every class, because it's really difficult, but also at the same time, he said that to make sure that we knew that it's not about the grades anymore.
Right. It's about knowing what you're doing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'd rather have a nurse that, because if you're not a good test taker, you're screwed. But if you know what you're doing, then how does that set you apart from the next person? It doesn't.
Yeah.
But I feel like even failing, and this sounds so fucking cliche, but failing, honestly, you learn a lot from
Builds
failing.
character.
Yeah.
I failed a lot. Maybe that's why I'm such a character.
No, but like you
I have failed a lot.
You see your test score and you're like, shit, like how did I
thought I tried hella hard.
No, and you go and you talk to your professor or whoever it was
right.
that you talk to and you're like, okay, now I honestly understand it better.
That I didn't pass the test.
No, not if I didn't pass, but it's like, okay, like what did I do wrong? Or like you go and ask a question, it's like, okay, I thought I did better. What? And then you learn. I feel like I learn better that way.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna go failing every class, every test.
I didn't do that either. I just said I failed.
I mean, that happens.
I feel like we already touched up on some of these because it was taking time to spend with family. I commuted only 15 minutes, so it wasn't that bad for me, honestly. Like, you lived in LA, so you only came home sometimes.
Yeah, well, I was still commuted to Long Beach State. It was probably like a 20-minute drive. Not too bad.
Yeah,
but
that's not bad.
From Lodi now to Turlock, that's a good 50 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
No, yeah. I feel like you ever in the car, you're thinking, you're like, I can literally be doing so much with this time right now. But I'm in a car.
I would literally play like YouTube videos of like skills.
Of what you're learning? Yeah, that's smart.
The whole drive there because I felt like I was wasting so much time.
Like,
that was
driving
2 hours of my day on the road.
Yeah.
That's crazy too.
I just hated, because I was scheduled for work right after school. So like literally 30 minutes later I had to go to school.
So you like
sometimes I even had to change before I went to...
In case of traffic?
No, I had to change, like I had literally 30 minutes to get there and it takes like 25 minutes.
From
like,
UOP, yeah. Uh-huh. And that's if school, because what time were your classes over? Because if school's out in Stockton, then you're screwed.
My freshman year I was done, 2:30 and I sometimes started at 3.
Yeah, see? That's,
like, what the fuck?
School time. That's literally school time.
What? Yeah. How do I get there from there? I mean, sometimes I was late and I was like, well, you guys scheduled me, but I'm here. But I hated that. I hated, I had to do that and maybe I didn't get to eat or maybe I didn't have enough to eat. So I was, like, starving the rest of my shift. Stomach growling, like...
Can I help you?
I worked at a grocery store, so I could buy something, but I had to wait until my break time.
Yeah, your break time. Mm-hmm. I feel like the biggest one on here for me is, like, being present. Like, I feel like yesterday, when, like, I was waking up, we were in San Francisco, and I just, like, that morning, I just had so much to do, and I, like, was trying to get it done on the way there so that when I'm there, I'm, like, there. And it still took me a minute to, like, get, even you were
we were finding a coffee shop. We were trying to go to was it a Phil's or...
We found a Pete's.
Oh, yeah, Pete's.
But then we didn't park next to it.
Anyways, like, we had to keep going because we had to get to the museum on time. And I told Sabrina, like, we'll find a coffee spot closer to the museum. And we found a Starbucks. And we're like, oh, yeah.
Right next door.
And we're, like, walking to the Starbucks. Nicole's on her phone.
Already at the door.
And she, like, looks up and she's like, oh, look, there's a Starbucks. We can get coffee.
But we had already said, okay, let's go into Starbucks really quick. And then...
Like, we're already in front of the freaking Starbucks. Yeah. Like, here's Starbucks and I'm right here. And I was like, oh.
No, but we had just said, Gabby was like, oh, there's Starbucks. Do you want Starbucks? And then, like, 2 minutes later, not even, like, 30 seconds later, you're like, oh, there's a Starbucks right here. And we were like...
Yes, Nicole.
Yes. Are you not here?
So I wasn't there. So being present is, like, really big because I feel like before I made that big change and, like, went self-employed and all that, like, being present was hard because I feel like I was always mentally at work. Or, like, I was stressing about having to, like, request this day off to have a family thing. Or, like, just something.
I hated that.
I hated that. Like, my mom's like, oh, let's go here. I'm like, I need to know, like...
I need to know a week ago.
Because now, if no one wants to cover my shift, now what? I can't go. I'm not going to call in. I mean, I did sometimes, but it's like, how many times can you use that excuse? I don't feel well. It's like, come on, it's obvious, right? So it's like being present. Now I'm much more thankful, like, when I'm present, I'm present. Like, I actually put my phone away.
That's why,
enjoy
like,
it.
I really try to, like, go to all my family events now that I have time because I spent so long not being able to go to them. One, because I lived in LA.
Right.
And two, even when I was in LA, like, I remember my sister coming into my room all the time, like, while I was studying, like, hey, do you want to play Nintendo? Or, like, hey, do you want to go grab something? And I'm just like, no, I'm studying. I can't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And now, like, I'm just so much more grateful. Like,
yes.
I want to be there. Like, yeah.
Yes,
no.
I don't care what it is. Like, an 8-year-old's birthday party, I'm there.
I'm like, do they have snack pouches? Because...
Yeah.
Do they have little goodie bags? No, yeah.
I value it so much more.
I'm the same way. Same way.
So I felt, because my uncle comes down a lot on the weekend, and sometimes it's just like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm coming, like, this weekend, like, just out of nowhere. And I couldn't, I couldn't be there. I couldn't go to brunch. I couldn't go wine tasting with them. Mm-hmm. Not that I'm 21 yet, but I couldn't go.
Just don't care.
I still can't in a couple days. But I was just like, I was so bummed. Like, I was upset. For what, though? Like, you know, like, I had to work, whatever. It was just upsetting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be at work while you guys are over there having a good time. You know,
it feels
like,
so
I want
good
to go.
to be like, what time? I'll be there. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah. I think
it does.
Yeah.
I think ever since, you know, we left our jobs, it's like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm doing this. You want to come? Like, the other day when you were, like, telling me, or, like, when we went to Nectar.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, do you guys want Nectar? Let's go. Like,
yeah,
you know,
and it's just so easy.
You don't
but
have
you're
to,
happy.
Yeah.
And you work when you want or can, or, like, I still set a time, like, I need to work this many days out of the week, but if I have to, like, rearrange some days, like, I can do that, right? Like, as long as I make the money that I need to make in the week, we're good.
Yeah.
Like, you know? Okay. Yes. Taking time for ourselves, that's a big one. That's a big one. I feel like I'm barely learning how to do that. So I don't know about y'all, but within the last year, I feel
like thankfully I've gotten really comfortable with saying no to plans because I haven't had my own days. Like I love, like now just recently this past year I started taking trips by myself. Literally, I'll drive out to San Francisco, I'll drive out to Monterey Bay.
It makes me nervous when you do that,
I know,
but I'm happy that you can do that.
I want to do that, but crime junkies. Like,
you gotta stop listening to that, man.
Like, whenever you tell, I'm like, oh, like, who you with? And you're like, it's a me day. And I'm like, this girl is really hiking by herself and God knows where. Like, it just makes me nervous because I'm like, oh my God, nothing happens to Gabby. Like, nobody.
But I think it's just like more like a girl like thing.
Yes,
like, oh, you're a girl.
Yeah.
Like,
I know how it is.
I definitely am always like on edge too when I'm by myself.
Yeah. But I'm happy that
like
you can do that for yourself.
So important to spend time by yourself.
I've never gone on
I'm
a
not saying
trip.
don't do it.
You don't have to go on a trip to spend time by yourself.
No, I know, but I'm just saying I've never done it. I feel like I'd be bored. See, but I'm too social. Like, I can be at home by myself. Like, I recently got into meditating. Like, I can do that. But, like, going somewhere by myself, I kind of feel like I would.
And I feel like maybe that's your self-care. Like, maybe you should try being by yourself.
I would try. I've had to be by myself a lot recently because my roommate goes home for the summer. So I've been living literally by myself. So it's like I definitely gotten used to it and like I found ways that I am happier. But still like I don't know, when I think about going somewhere, like I've been to like Chipotle and like sat there and eaten by myself, but I've never been to like a restaurant and like table for one. Like I've never done that. Ever.
It's weird at first, not gonna lie. But I feel like after a while, like I have so much fun when I'm by myself, and I think it's awesome because like you learn a lot about yourself that way too. And I just think especially at our age where we're like, so many things are changing. Like we're in college now, soon we're gonna graduate, and we're gonna like officially be adults.
Not doing that. Adult.
I'm gonna stay in school
TikTok that was like, nobody told me adulting is the ghetto. I was like, that is literally so true. No one told me. Like everyone makes it look so fun.
But I was just talking about this,
fun,
like, you know, when you graduate high school, I don't know if you guys felt this way, but like after I graduated high school, I was like, oh, I have a job, I'm on top of the world, like, you know, I can spend time with my friends. Well, then I was only working 16 hours a week, so I really wasn't working. But it was still like I was getting money, like I was spending time with my friends. I did not start college yet, so I don't know. Did you guys feel like you were like on top of the world after graduating, or was that just
honestly
like
that summer was a blur?
Okay, I feel like if I didn't have volleyball right away, like I did, I would have. But because I already knew what I had, like I literally knew, like we graduated like in June. Summer conditioning was in July, so it wasn't like I said, I never really. My first summer break, unfortunately, was last summer with COVID. Like, that was the first summer that I didn't have volleyball. All I had was work, me, myself, and I. That was the first summer, and I didn't really get it. But, like, even this summer, like, I'm just more like, wow, like, I can literally go where I want, when I want. Just do me. Like, that. This is, like, my first true summer where I've, like, been able to do things, not having to have time off. Now I feel that way. But I didn't feel that way graduating because I didn't have that break. You didn't have a break.
Mm-hmm. See, I had just stopped playing soccer.
Right. So
I was just going to school. I had friends. Like, it was just, to me, that was my summer 16.
Oh, here we go.
I didn't have a summer 16. I had a summer 19.
19.
No, 18.
But it was your 16.
Summer 18.
Yeah, but it was your 16.
But it was my 16.
Yeah.
But, you know, after that, then you go to school and you're like, oh, you know, life is not on top of the world right now. Like, life kind of sucks.
I don't know if it's just me, but like recently, maybe it's just because I'm a senior now, but like freshman, sophomore year, didn't really care for college. I was like, this is whack. Now I'm like, dude, college is so fun. But I feel like also I'm taking major courses, like what I'm actually going to do in my life, not prereqs. So I feel like now it's more like I actually want to go to class because I'm like, oh my God, like I never thought about that when I'm a teacher. Like I am going to have to encounter this, or I'm going to have students that only speak Spanish or are English learners, or aren't from here or have disabilities, and I'm like, I've never really had to deal with that. So like I honestly want to learn about how to help them, and like that's why to me college is fun now, but it wasn't fun. It wasn't always fun.
That touches on like being able to give back as first generation students. Now we're getting those degrees and like being able to give back to the same, you know, people that we are.
Yeah, for sure. I always think about my grandpa, because my grandpa, he can understand, like if I'm speaking English to him, he gets it. I want to say like within the past 5 years, like he started 5 years ago, he started going to school, to adult school, because he wanted to learn how to speak English and how to write in English. He can read and write in Spanish, but he can't read and write in English. And he actually wrote me, this was like a year and a half, 2 years ago, he wrote me my birthday letter in English. And he told me that he had his teacher proofread it.
Aww.
And I was like, oh my
god.
That's what I want to get tattooed. So at the very bottom, he put, I love you very much, and then love, comma, your grandfather, and then he like signed it, and I was like, but it's so like, cute. It's his handwriting, like it's authentic, but that to me is like, he wants to learn, like and at his age, I don't even know how old he is. I mean, he's 70 something, he's like late 70s, so I'm like, he wants to be better, so that also motivates me. I'm like, okay, if my grandpa is going to adult school, like, he always says like, échale ganas, like put in some effort. If you don't know what that means, like that to me is like a big thing.
Yeah, my
like,
mom used to be a teacher for like, I don't know, it was at Lodi Middle, and she was like the English teacher, but it was people that were barely learning to speak.
Okay, it probably was through the adult school then.
So she was doing that, and I would go with her and just like help her. Like I would just, I told you guys, I've always like loved like the teaching like
that
environment. So I used to go with her, and like it honestly was sad. Like it was
sad.
Is sad. It's like, oh my god, like people actually like, I feel bad for them because people look down on them. Like they're smart.
They are smart.
They just don't know our language. Like that's it, and English isn't easy. Yesterday he just identified like no, like fuck it, it's hard. It's hard.
It is hard. All these silent letters, honestly, like take it out.
Heartbreaking, especially me because I work in the healthcare field now.
Yeah, you see it a lot.
I work for a primary care office and I work at an urgent care, and I speak Spanish, so like I remember one of the first times that I was able to translate for a patient at the doctor's office, like you could just see in her face like how relieved she was that there was somebody there that spoke her language.
Gotcha.
And like that, you know, translating for her and understanding how little English she knew, I'm like, I was thinking afterward, like, how was she going to be able to communicate to her doctor what her needs were?
Right.
How was the doctor you weren't there going to be able to communicate to her like what her lab results were? Like, just that huge barrier gap between physicians, especially because Hispanics are so underrepresented in the medical field, and working at the urgent care too. Sometimes I can't help them. Sometimes I don't speak their language, and they just look so hopeless, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, because they're not going in there for something dumb. Like we're talking about their health.
Yeah,
like they need to know the results and what's going on, and if they have questions, like they need
and if
answers.
you don't have a translator, what do you do?
Yeah, their quality of healthcare just drastically decreases when you don't speak the same language as your provider.
There's this book I read my Spanish year, my senior year, my freshman year of college. It's called, I think, Speaking Tongues. Have you guys heard of it?
I've heard of that book actually.
Oh my god, it was so
really good.
But it was just, there was this part, I don't remember the quote or anything, but they were talking about, you know how, like for example, your mom, you know how she has an accent, but if she were to say something in English and me and Nicole were like, okay, what did she say, Gabby? Like, you understand her because you know that accent, like, you know that dialect already.
Right.
As to, like, if we were, like, trying to understand her, we'd be like, what is she saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Not even just, like, your mom. I'm saying, like, people in general. Like,
any little accent.
And that's true.
Words.
Like, even if you are trying to understand, like, for example, someone who is Vietnamese and they're speaking English to me, but I'm like, what are they saying? Like, it's hard. It's that dialect is the barrier. Like, they're speaking English, but...
Yeah.
You're like, wait, what? Yeah, I got
accent.
you.
Yeah, the accent.
I think it's
the
crazy.
accent is a big thing.
The number of times I've had to like sit there and be like repeat what the patients are saying, and like I'm totally not understanding what they're saying.
Like,
and we're just like going back and forth, like.
Wait, what? No.
One more time. Just say it one more time. That's why I think.
You'll be like shoulder. No. Okay. Sorry. No. What?
I know. I don't know. Like I feel like this isn't always talked about. Like. The podcast topic of being a first-gen student, but I also feel like it's something to be proud of. Like at the end of the day, like when you look back, you're like, I did the damn thing. We're still doing the damn thing, but like when we get those degrees, it's like I didn't just do it for myself. Like I did it for everybody that backed me up, right? Like it takes a team, literally. Like, it's not just us. We're not alone in this. Like,
yeah. I am
we
the
have support.
first that I know of that I think I am. I'm pretty sure I am. I'm the first to go straight to a 4-year and be like close to being done without like
right, without a gap or
without a
anything
gap.
like that. Yeah.
I'm the first, and that's like what I'm one of the last grandchildren, like grandchildren.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
my mom has a lot of siblings, and there's a lot of kids, and it's just like, wow, like not anything bad on their part. It's just
No,
like
yeah.
I did it. It's just pressure for me, like just the way I am. It's like, oh my god, I need to finish.
Because you're already so close though.
I'm 1 semester left.
Yeah, and I'm 2 semesters, so it's like we're like right there. It's okay, Gabby.
It's no, I'm in my 3rd year now technically. My nursing program is 3 years long. I did 2 years of prereq, so it's total 5 years, but I took a gap, so.
I would have too if I was in the nursing program. Shoot.
But like, now that I was just thinking about it, like, obviously none of my uncles and aunts went to college, or at least finished college. My cousins, I think my sister and one of my cousins, I have basically three of the grandchildren have gone to college, finished college. That's it. And then I would be the 4th out of all my cousins. It's crazy.
That's
I didn't
crazy.
even think about that.
When you look at it and you're like, okay, I have these many family members, and I'm one of the 2. I think one other person has their college degree, and it's like I'm one of the 2. There's only 2 of us that have a college degree, like.
That's insane.
And there's so many of us.
Yeah.
There's like about 100 of us. I'm not even kidding.
I'm not kidding. Yeah.
There's about 100.
I'm the first in my household. Like, aside, literally, yeah, like my cousin Alyssa's dad, he went to college. My uncle didn't. My mom didn't. My dad didn't. So it's like, in my actual household, like, I'm literally the first one to, like, ever even get in.
Yeah.
Stick with it. And then, like, almost done. And then, of course, like, hope my brothers would follow, or trade school, whatever it is that they're going to do. But yeah, it's like a huge accomplishment. And I feel like if you are one of us, or even if you aren't first gen and you're the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, like, it doesn't even matter. Like, it's still an accomplishment. Like, you did it. And with the year that we just finished and are still continuing to finish, I feel like we pushed through, and like, we definitely, like, we're doing it.
Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it, guys.
We're doing it.
Congrats to us.
I know. But that being said, though, let's talk about...
How did we do it?
Girl, I don't even know how to answer that question. The how part is out of here, because I don't even know. But this is not the last time you're going to see our 3 faces, because we're going to do another one. We're going to talk about, like, generational differences. So how our parents grew up versus how they were raised, and then how they raised us, and, like, certain problems that we see rise. Not problems, but things that should be talked about, fixed.
Us being like our Gen Z generation, dealing with like the millennial generation.
Yeah.
I think it'll be fun to look at.
I'm like just interested in to see like things that I haven't brought up to my mom yet,
Yeah.
but I kind of want to bring up and just see what she talks about, because I'm genuinely like, it's not their fault.
Yeah.
Again, it's no one's fault. You're raised how you're raised, and you try to be better than your parents when you have kids. That's naturally how it goes. So it's like, I'm genuinely excited to like do that episode. So that one's gonna come up, but both this one and that one will be on my podcast and on her podcast, so you can go to either one. Our same guest will be back next time. Gabby, thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you.
This was awesome. We'll put all of our social media handles, all of our where to find our podcast, so Spotify, Apple, Anchor, all that stuff will be on there. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
We good?
Bye.